5 or 6 years ago, I got into doing a little bit of VR with an Oculus Rift DK2. I hadn't touched that thing in probably 3 years, and I thought as a Christmas gift to myself, I would buy a new Oculus Rift. I bought the Oculus Rift S. But life in a wheelchair and cables are a problem. I tried to move around, and they'd be all over the floor. My dog here would be tripping over them. I would be rolling on them, and I'd get all tangled up, and things just would not pan out. I was constantly having to use one of my free hands to drag cables around, and that was really ruining the experience. There's my controllers. So I got on Amazon and bought a cable management system, and thought, well, I'll just get somebody to stick those to the ceiling for me, and I'd be all set. But I got impatient, and being slightly industrious, I decided that surely I could stick something to that ceiling all by myself, even though I'm down here, a little over 4 feet off the ground. So I got on the AutoCAD, printed a model, printed it on my trusty printer, and there it is. The skinny end goes into a wooden dowel I have. That wooden dowel right there, actually. Just slip that right on top. Right on top, there you go. And the fat end works for the stick-on ceiling mounts. So there's a ceiling mount. Stick it in there like so. Peel the backing off. Put that on top of the wooden dowel I have. Raise my seat. My seat elevates about 10 inches. Haul that wooden dowel up and stick those to the ceiling like that one. That was all well and good, but then I needed a way to, let me move this stuff over, to stick, there we go, this, with its hole there, through the loop, there we go, through this loop, while it's hanging on the ceiling. So I thought, well, I'll print another tool. So I printed another tool. This one as well will fit on my wooden dowel, and it's got a cradle. And the idea is pull the cord out slightly so that that silver stop is out of the way. Drop it in there while holding it tight on the wooden dowel, drag it up, and loop it on the hook at the bottom of these. I thought, oh, that should work just fine. Didn't take me very long to design. Took less than 2 hours to print. It was a pretty good print job. But I got impatient. I'm like, I don't want to stick around for 2 hours and wait for this to print. So what I did was I grabbed one of the Allen wrenches that came with those hooks to hook the cables up to the ceiling. And I went all redneck and taped it to my wooden dowel on the other end. And I discovered that if I keep the dowel at a slight angle so that, there we go, so that the Allen wrench is facing slightly up and kept tension on the cable with the chair raised up, I could bring it up high enough to loop those. At least those two right there onto the hooks on the ceiling. It also, each one of those, by the way, has a meter of cable on it. But the end one, right there, let's see if I can get it in the shot. There it is. That rectangular one has 3 meters of cable and was just too wide for me to keep it on the Allen wrench and get it to loop over the hook on the ceiling. So I dragged the hook down with the reacher and put a cable tie on there. Put the cable tie on the reel and then looped it with the reacher back over the hook. That was pretty simple and pretty straightforward and worked first try. The only other change I made was on all 3 of these, once I figured out where I wanted my data cable to go on each hook, I cable tied them tight against the hooks. And the reason I did that was because as I'm dragging cable around, these hooks on the bottom of these ceiling mounts would slide around on my cable and misalign everything. And that was really starting to annoy me because I kept having to stop and realign. And so, let me just bring this down here like so. So what I did was, as you can see, there there's a cable tie holding that together so that my links all stay the same. Of course, the one thing I hadn't considered was, where am I going to put the headset when I'm not using it, when it's all hooked to all this stuff, plus cable tied on? I mean, this isn't the easiest thing in the world for me to work with. But for now, it's sitting on the edge of my little homemade big desk. And I think what I'm going to do is go back to AutoCAD and design a little mount to mount on the corner of the desk. Probably this corner, or maybe around the corner here, over here, and just hang the headset from there. Yeah, the heck with the problem with the cables hanging down in the middle of the room right here. Maybe my friends can come up with a better solution. Maybe I just need more data cable for my headset, which is possible. This is kind of short, but it's long enough that with this 3-meter cable, it holds it up out of the way. I can't get it in the shot. Here we go. Holds it up out of the way of my headrest. I do have a headrest on my chair. And I don't get tangled up. It feels a little tight occasionally when I get towards the edges of my play area. There goes the dog. So my play area is basically like this, and just around the corners here, and along that wall, and right about here, and then back around the bench here where my 3D printers live, and along here. And that seems plenty big for playing in my chair. It prevents me from running into anything. I did learn the hard way, take the leg rest into account when you're setting your boundaries. Hi, dog. Or you're playing along and you bang into things like that wall over there, the dog's bedroom over here, and you start making dents and things. So that's no good. That all being said, this is a really good solution. At least until somebody comes up with a wireless solution where I can just plug everything in and wheel around the house, as it were. I thought I'd just share you guys this.